Come and knock on our door.
Come and knock on our door.
We've been waiting for you.
We've been waiting for you.
Where the kisses are hers and his, three's company too.
Freak out, yo!
All right, thank you guys so much for tuning into the It's Tuesday podcast, and it is, in fact, Tuesday. And I hope you guys have been having a great week so far. If you haven't, hopefully, this boosts your spirits a little bit, because the It's Tuesday podcast is a fact-based podcast. And the great thing about facts is, even if you're stupid, if you ever find yourself in like a social situation where you just want to stand out, you want to feel like you know something that the other people don't, this is going to help you do that. We're going to tell you about stuff that nobody cares about knowing. And when you share it with them, the looks on the people's faces might be a little disturbed, because they're going to be like, why do you know this? Why would anybody take time out in researching this? And you're going to be that guy. So we're going to help you create a whole new personality. This is what you're going to do by listening to this podcast. I mean, ultimately, who doesn't want to know about dolphin sex? I mean, I know when I'm in a conversation and the conversation goes RIP, the moment I bring up dolphin sex, it's immediately revived. Well, not just dolphin sex. I want to, dispel this myth that dolphins are these angelic creatures, that they're loving and they're beautiful and it's quite the opposite. I don't know what you guys are thinking. Chris, you're telling us something we already know. We know they're more aggressive than sharks. It's not even about that. It's just about the malicious intent behind their behavior. Again, people, fact-based podcasts. Dolphin sex can be violent. Gangs of 2 or 3 male bottlenose dolphins isolate a single female from their pod and forcibly mate with her. So just to put that into perspective, from their pod, this is someone they know. They've hung out with this person before. This is like, Martha sitting down with Jim and Todd at lunch every day, having wonderful conversations about whatever. And all of a sudden, Martha wakes up in Jim and Todd's shared basement, right? Chained to a wall. This is really what this is. Dolphins are animals, obviously. Now, sometimes they do this for weeks at a time. Even with us humans, if there's a serial rapist, they just want to hit it and quit it. They want to move on. They don't want to get caught. No. These dolphins will keep this female dolphin chained to their metaphorical basement for weeks at a time and take turns. And the reason why they do this is not just for sexual gratification, it's actually to keep her in line, right? So imagine, again, I go back to Jim and Todd and Martha in the lunchroom. They're having a great friendship, great conversation. They're work colleagues, whatever you want to call them. Martha steps out of line in just the smallest way. Maybe she disagrees with Jim on something as trivial as sports. Boom, raped for 2 weeks to keep her in line. This is insane. Additionally, they make aggressive noises while, they're raping, threatening movements. So the hand is, raised up in the air or the fin. And they even smack her around with her tails, or rather with their tails. So really and truly, the full definition of what a human rapist does. Now, this one is a little bit much. If the victim tries to get away, they chase the victim down. What the hell? So after this horrible experience of being gang raped, she somehow gets free. She's already been tortured. She gets free. No. It's not over yet. We're only like 8 days into this 2-week thing. They chase the female dolphin down. Now, horny dolphins, they've also been known to target human swimmers. Of course, we know this. Demi Moore, it's not funny, but Demi Moore, she's rumored to have had a close encounter of the finny kind. That's corny, I know. Okay, how about this, though? Dolphins are not only aggressive rapists, they kill their own babies. They kill their own babies. There's a thing like honor killing. I know you guys have heard of that. I'm not going to jump into that. That's where parents, of course, kill their own kids. But let's hear why dolphins kill their own babies. You guys have probably heard that, I guess like in lions, the main lion will kill the cubs right away just to kind of make the female lion ready to have kids again. Right? So we've already established how horny and aggressive a male dolphin can be. So this is actually why they kill their own babies, right? So, the female dolphin is pregnant. It's been a while since they've raped and they want to have sex again. So they'll kill their own children so they can more than likely forcibly have sex with the female dolphin again for weeks at a time while they take turns with all their other male dolphin buddies. These guys are animals. If you think that a dolphin has a halo, please, I want to let you know how misinformed you actually are. This is the craziest part. Dolphins can actually, they can actually wreak havoc day and night without sleeping. A recent study actually found that they can go 5 days straight. 5 days straight without sleeping. And the craziest part is there's no lag. Like imagine you, for example, you might need 6 to 8 hours sleep. If you don't get your own personal recommended amount of time of sleep, you feel like shit the next day. These dolphins go 5 days straight, no sleep, and they don't even notice it. So yeah, if a dolphin had a couple 1-2 and they feeling kind of rapey, that's 5 days straight of the raping type behavior. Now, here's the other thing. The Japanese, I feel like they've gotten a bad rap when it comes to dolphins. Everybody knows, well, if you don't know, they like to kill the dolphins, right? There was a documentary that came out called The Cove, brought a lot of awareness to this, made a lot of white women cry. And, so a lot of tears. So I guess it was kind of understandable when a lot of innocent black people were getting gunned down by the police while they had no tears left. All the tears were used on the dolphin. So I get it. But, they were very upset. And, essentially the Japanese, they were saying that, hey, we're only doing this for the meat. For the meat, we like to eat the meat. And upon further digging by these very, very distraught, tearful white women, we found out that that wasn't actually the case, if they are to be believed. Essentially, the reason why the Japanese were killing all these very dangerous dolphins is because they were eating all the fish, right? So they wanted, these are fishermen, and they wanted to knock out the competition. So apparently that was the main reason they were killing the dolphins. Now, dolphin hunting season commenced in a small village. I believe it's pronounced Tajai in Tajai, Japan, and they had a quota of killing about 1,400 dolphins, and then the next year it went up to 17 and change, and so on, so forth. Again, a lot of people upset about this, mostly white women, okay? But still, a lot of people upset about this. I think this is great. I feel like the less dolphins we have, the better. When Donald Trump ran on his presidency, he came down the escalator, he said, Mexicans are rapists and gang members, okay? Let's build the wall. Wrong target, Trump. You really should have decided to build a wall around the seaboard, right? Let's keep the dolphins out, or at least keep us away from the dolphins. I feel like probably would have had more success, more people for the wall if that was the case. But, the craziest thing about this, and you guys have seen it, maybe you've even done it, is people pay. You pay money to swim with these animals, right? And I'm talking, it depends on the resort, right? But you pay like $80 to $145 to swim with these rapists. I ask you, are you still going to swim with the rapists? Even when Jessica Alba, when she was a kid doing flipper, she was attacked by a dolphin. And I quote, I don't know if anybody knows this, but dolphins get excited even when you're a human being. And they have long. I didn't know this until I was being poked by a few of them. Again, that's the gang rape. I think I learned my lesson. I sort of request female dolphins after that because those are horny little bastards. End quote. Again, $80 to $145 to be traumatized by the finny kind. You let me know, all right? It's a Tuesday morning, and I hope that filled your brain up with some solid information that you could bring up at your next dinner party. Let's keep it moving. Did you have fun with that one? Was that nice? Did I do a good job? Do you feel educated? If not, that's fine. I like to take another shot at it. Listen, some of you may or may not know, but I'm married. I'm happily married. We're going on year number 7, and you probably don't even care. But I tell you because I'm part of the very short list of success stories when it comes to marriage. Now, I feel like when people want to get married, they don't do their due diligence. They don't do their research. They don't go to wikipedia.com to get that real solid information, right? All you do is you listen to your heart, and technically that's really what you should do. But when you look at the statistics, it's insane. The likelihood that the person that you say I do to, it's not going to work out. It's very high that you're going to fall flat on your face and broke. Okay. And I'm not saying this to scare you, although you probably are, especially if you got that ring in your pocket. But I'm just saying this to keep you well informed. Again, it's a fact-based podcast, people. Let's look at some of these numbers. Now, a lot of people, before they get married, they have a checklist. They say, do you meet these requirements? One of those requirements might be the occupation, right? So here are 10 occupations with the highest divorce rates. All right. Gaming managers, 52.9%. Have no idea what that is, but apparently they're filthy animals and they can't keep it in the pants. Bartenders, 52.7%. This is not surprising. There's alcohol, there's music. It's a Friday, Saturday night. People are beautiful. They're loose. Not suggesting you are loose, but if you frequent bars and you're single, you're probably loose. Keeping it moving. Flight attendants, 50.5%. I kind of get it. You know, if those XXX movies from the 80s and 90s were accurate in any way, it's flight attendants have a lot of sex. So, all right. Gaming service workers, 50.3%. Don't know what that is. Rolling machine setters, operators, and tenders. Don't know what that is, but apparently they are not loyal. 50.1%. Switchboard operators, 49.7%. What the hell is going on? What is this? Drawing machine setters, 49.6%. Don't know what that is. Telemarketers, 49.2%. I was a telemarketer when I was a kid, and I was faithful. Obviously, I was not in the majority, right? I was part of the minority in that, but damn, what is it? I feel like with the telemarketers, it's because, you know, it's a co-ed office, right? Men and women there, you see the same person every single day. You're talking all day. You go out for drinks at the end of the week when you get paid. It's a job that you hate anyways. It's really a toxic environment, right? Especially if you are single. Right? Yeah, it goes down now that I think about it. Textile machine operators, 48.9%. And finally, compact machine setters, 48.8%. I don't know what those last two are, but it really sounds like anyone working in a factory, they just have a problem keeping their dick in their pants or their vagina in their pants. I don't know. Now, if these statistics mean anything to you as far as what the person does for a living, well, let's look at the lowest rates. Okay, so the most faithful. All right, let's start with actuaries. Don't know what that is, but that's probably why they're super faithful. 17% of them cheat when they're in a marriage. Physical scientists, 18.9%. Medical and life scientists, 19.6%. Clergy, 19.8%. How are the scientists more loyal and faithful than men and women of God? Okay. Software developers, 20.3%. Kind of makes sense. Okay. Physical therapist, 20.7%. Okay. You know, you're touching, you're feeling. Optometrist, 20.8%. This makes sense. They work in eyes. So wandering eyes, I get that. Chemical engineers, 21.1%. Directors of religious activities and education, 21.3%. How is any person in religion on this list? How does an occupation make this list of people that cheat? I mean, it's one of the commandments, man. Physicians and surgeons, 21.8%. Okay, so it seems like anybody in the medical field, they're horny. Almost 50% of all marriages in the United States will end in divorce or separation. Damn. Talk about, and see, you see now why I started saying, hey, I'm a success story? But let's see. Researchers estimate that 41% of all first marriages end in divorce. 41%. 60% of all second marriages end in divorce. 73% of all third marriages end in divorce. So what's the lesson here? If you fail the first time, No. The second or the third time is not the charm. Chances are you're just not the marriage type. You're better off being like a pet person. You might want to get yourself a dog or a cat, because the other sex or even the same sex, they're not you can't make it work with them. You're not compatible. All right. Here's some statistics that'll depress you a little bit more. Every 42 seconds, there is one divorce in America. That equates to 86 divorces per hour, 2,046 divorces per day, 14,364 divorces per week, and 746,971 divorces per year. Damn, the odds are stacked against you. Now, the average age for couples going through their first divorce is 30 years old. 60% of all divorces involve individuals aged 25 to 39. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I don't understand those people who get married early. What are you doing? Okay. How are you getting married in your 20s? You don't even know who you are yet. So how could you know what you want in another person? Right? It makes no sense to me. So this statistic actually, it hits home. All right. Now here's another one. Wives are the ones who most often file for divorce at 66% on average. And that figure has soared to nearly 75% in some years. And that, I get that. I mean, think about this for a second. If a guy's a piece of shit, right, comes home late all the time, smelling like perfume, misses family events, forgets birthdays and anniversaries, just a douchebag. But the woman, his wife, is still doing everything a loving wife is supposed to do. She takes care of him. She gives him money. She lifts him up when he's just everything, right? Still, bedroom, the whole show. Why would he leave? Even if he doesn't want to be there, why would he leave? It would make no sense. So I get why this number is so high for women, because eventually a woman's just going to say, all right, F this, I'm done. And she's going to file for divorce, of course. Why? Of course. Why? Why are these divorces happening? And I think we've alluded to some of this earlier, but lack of commitment is 73%. So people just not faithful. Want to sleep around. This is why, of course, before you get married, I said it earlier, know who you are. You might not be the marriage type. You might just want to sleep around forever. You might just like who knows, right? So, date around. I said sleep around, but at least date around. You argue too much, right? So, you got the neighbors constant yelling. You hear glass breaking because pictures are falling off the wall and stuff like that. I don't mean their pictures. I mean yours, because somebody's getting thrown into the wall, So yeah, arguing too much. This I can see why this would be an issue, obviously. Infidelity, hello. 55% of marriages break up due to infidelity. And obviously, in fact, why isn't this number higher? Why are people staying together after the other person cheated? And I don't know, but I'm going to say, I bet you anything, it's the dude who's cheating and it's the wives who are saying, I'll give you another chance. And I say that confidently because I know one woman who is married who did that. Never understand that. Never understand it. Okay. Unrealistic expectations. 45% of marriage break up for that reason. And that makes sense to me. Before you get with this person, you tell them, hey, this is who I am. Yes, of course, I want to be a better person. That's also why we're together. You make me better. I make you better, of course, right? I want to thrive. I want to grow. But at the core, this is me. So if you think you're going to put the ring on and I'm going to change into a totally different person, it's not going to work out, right? So unrealistic expectations. Know who you're marrying. Lack of equality in the relationship, 44%. This makes total sense, right? It's just a power shift in the actual marriage, right? Who calls the shots? Who wears the pants? And I think that this stems from how that person was brought up, right? If you're dating a woman and in that woman's, bratupsy, maybe she was raised by her single mom. So she don't even know the dad, right? And she sees the mom calling all the shots, being the strong one. Maybe she believes that that's how it has to be. And then on the flip side, it's same thing for the men, raised in a single parent home or even with two parents, but the man called all the shots, right? So, basically, in my opinion, I think it should be 50-50. You know what I'm saying? I think the decisions need to be made on both parts. That's what I think. But hey, 44%, man, 44%. That's not a small number. And of course, lack of preparation for marriage. So 41% because you're just not prepared for marriage. I said it once, I'll say it again. Don't jump into it if you're not ready. It's not an easy thing. All right. And last but certainly not least, I cannot believe this number is so low. It's actually sad. 25% of marriages break up due to domestic violence. So what that tells me is there's a lot of people, men and women, getting physically and emotionally abused and still staying with that person. Not okay. All right. Okay. Listen, we've all been through this. All right. If you've been dating someone for a long time, you've either done this or at least talked about it, right? Moving in. You know, I'm paying rent here. You're paying rent here. Let's save that money, put it towards a home. We spend all of our time together anyways, right? Moving in. I'm for this. I don't want to marry you if I don't know what you live like. I need to know you through and through, your habits, everything. But here's the kicker. Apparently, 40% of people that cohabitate before they get married, divorce. And 60% of people who cohabitate end up getting married. What the hell? So I'm trying to wrap my brain around this. The only thing I can think of is, hey, you've been living with this person for a year, 2 years, and you decide to get married. But that year and 2 years, say you got a disgusting habit. Maybe you're dirty. I don't know. You don't do dishes. You come home from a long day. You don't even shower. You just go right to bed. Nasty, right? Some people small, but nasty, especially over a year or two. And you refuse to change. So finally, unrealistic expectations, you get married and the person thinks you're going to start changing because maybe throughout that year or two, you've been nudging them. Hey, go take a shower, do the dishes, whatever. But they never really change. But you feel like they're going to change now. But they don't. Or maybe they do for a little bit, but they go back to what they've always done. Hell yeah. A year or two of your nasty ass, I've been trying to help you. Now we're married. It's still continuing. Yeah, it's over. And it might sound petty, but I think this is the logic behind it. You say you love me, right? Better or worse, right? Can you change this one tiny thing? All I'm asking you to do is scrub a couple dishes. All I'm asking you to do is take a shower before you hop in the bed. Small things. You can't do that for me. So I kind of get it. But on the flip side, better or worse, unrealistic expectations. You knew this is me. Year and a half, I've been doing the same thing. You've been trying to get me to change, and I haven't. Why would I change just because I got a ring on my finger? You said yes. You didn't ask me. I asked you, and you said yes. You bought the product, knowing exactly how the product performs. Why should it now change? Right? So this is what I'm talking about. I get that last statistic, but it's still kind of, messed. I think the only thing that last one tells you is, look, you've been living with the person, which I recommend. If they show flaws and some things that are red lines for you, and you give them ample time to change, and they don't go with, hey, I'll change if we get married. Nah, nigga. You had a year, you had 2 years, nothing's changed. This is who you are. When people show you who they are, believe them. And if they've been showing you that for like 2 years, that's just who they are. They're not going to change because a piece of jewelry is now on their finger, right? So, yeah. I hope this wasn't too depressing. If you do want to get married, I like I said, it's a beautiful thing. I'm happy. Is our marriage perfect? It is not, but I'm happy. She's happy, and we love each other. And that's the main thing. You got to remember this. If you're going to break up with someone because they have flaws, you argue too much. Let's just go with that. You guys argue too much. Do you think you're going to get married to another person or date another person long term and never argue? No, of course not. That's unrealistic. Arguments are bound to happen. The deal is you want to marry someone who is willing to work with you through the arguments. That's the deal. You want to marry someone that's worth that, because that is not easy. That's why most people break up after a lot of arguments. They're like, F this, too much work. But the person you marry, I think, they got to be worth that, right? So what are your thoughts on this, man? Don't be shy. Leave it in the comments. It's a Tuesday. It's hot outside. Enjoy the weather and try not to drink and drive. Deuces.
Motherfucker got fucked up 'cause he got in the